Hi, fellow lights and light travelers. This week's reading feels like the message that came through from Spirit is one of learning to speak up, to ask for help when needed, to move forward into a new space. I think it's perfect for the energies both at a micro and a macro level, aka as individuals and across the country, across the world. So, with that being said, take what resonates, leave the rest. I send you all light, and I hope you enjoyed this week's reading, A More Perfect Union. While you're here, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Enjoy your reading. Hello, fellow lights and light travelers. Welcome again to Light Journeys Tarot. I'm so happy that you're here with me again today. We're going to bring through a message for the collective. And please, do leave a comment if you prefer these collective videos or, you prefer the pick-a-piles. I don't do the pick-a-piles as often, only because it's just, I do all three piles successively, right? So like one after the other. And it's very energy draining. So I like to kind of spread out or do the one and have time to still do personal readings and what have you. But let me know, do you prefer these where you stumble upon and it's collective and just like if it's meant to reach you, if it's meant to reach you, or if you prefer the pick and pile, leave me those comments. I love to hear your feedback. And I'm here doing these for the collective, for whoever may not be able to afford personal readings, but still needs a message from Spirit, right? This is my way of giving back to the collective. So anyways, regardless, as I always say, these messages are here for your highest good. I light my candles. I invite in my guides. I always say, right, these are how the energies are currently laying. This does not mean that things are set in stone. This is how the energies currently lay. You are the one with the ultimate power. You are the one who ultimately has the say in how you live your life. Whatever choices you make, that is your free will. And, it shapes how things play out, right? So, the energies may say one thing and you're like, hey, I'm choosing to take that information, take the advice, do this, do that, whatever it is, right? You have the ultimate power. So always trust that, always know that, always believe that. All right. With that being said, these are messages for your highest good. Take what resonates, leave the rest. I was called to use the Modern Witch Tarot deck today. I'm feeling kind of witchy with the vibes. And that's neither here nor there. I feel like those were women, and I'm going to go on a tangent, sorry. Those were women that I feel were crucified for, maybe that's the wrong word, but regardless, they were, I would say, unjustly persecuted because of the fact that they were using these innate abilities that I feel like every single one of us has. I feel like it's just different senses, like seeing or speaking or smelling or tasting. Connecting to source, God, whatever you want to call it, is your divine right. Like, right? It is part of what we are. We are souls. We are lights. We are here. And I feel like those women were just, misunderstood because it was made to, it was made to seem that you had to go through certain channels to receive your messages in the way that they wanted you to receive it, right? It was being filtered. And these women had a connection to source, just like every single one of us has. So when I say witch, I'm not taking the connotations that were placed upon it. I take this as a liberation, an independence, if you will, of one's own divine right to connect through and receive messages. So anyways, modern witch, I mean this with power and love and nothing negative. We are here in love and in light and in for the highest good of you and the highest good of me and the highest good of the collective, because we are all one. Okay. Anyways, with that being said, let's get into it and see what source wants to bring forth today. All right, Spirit, what message do you want to bring forth for the collective today? What message? What message is coming forth for the collective today? Trusting to stop. Page of Cups. Queen of Swords. And Ace of Swords. Beautiful. Let's put this right here in the middle. Make sure you can read it okay. I feel like I'm crooked. Is it just me? I'm looking at the camera crazy. Okay, let's get into it. So with the Page of Cups, right, you are a person who is very emotionally intelligent, right? You are a person who has an open heart. I almost want to say you're a person who wears your heart on a sleeve, right? You are the type of individual, I'm hearing, nurturing, kind. You want the good for everyone, right? You are just like, you want the best outcome for all, and you just want there to be love, and that's just the vibe you exist in. It's very like youthful and almost optimistic is the word that comes through. Hopeful. I see you here. It almost looks like, let's see, what am I drawn to? Like the first thing I'm drawn to immediately is the girl, her eyes staring directly at the cup. This is interesting, what I'm actually feeling. I'm hearing one thing, got your eyes on the prize. The next thing I'm doing is kind of like you're watchful of people. You're an individual who's got an open heart and you're curious. I almost want to say like a people watcher. You're a good observer of the world and of individuals and their intentions. I almost want to say you're like one of those people that are very clairsentient. So, right, you could walk into the room and because you're so heart dominated, you feel deeply, so you could pick up the energy in a space. And you're very, very observant, but you're also, I want to say, very grounded and very at home in this, right? This is you planted. This isn't you swimming in the ocean. Although, yes, you are very in tune with that. You're very planted. So this is just a natural state of being for you. And you're very, very, very observant in your loving ways. I also want to say you're very communicative. I'm very drawn to like the blue and the teals. So 100%. You are a person who loves to share how you feel and communicate with others. So it's like you don't like to, you're a person that would give compliments, right? You're going to observe someone else and then you're going to be like, hey, you know, you're really amazing. Like, has anybody ever told you that you're really amazing at talking to people? Or has anybody ever told you, you look great today? Or, you know, I really appreciate X, Y, and Z about you. You're like a type of person that feels like a kind heart that just compliments and observes the world and is aware of things and likes to communicate and share your heart, your ideas, and your kindness with others is what's coming through. So that's beautiful. What's interesting about the second card, right? The swords is very mental. So you're moving from a very heart, or how you have moved through this world, and it's still an aspect of you is very heart-centered and led. This is calling you into decisiveness and honesty. And I don't know if this is with someone else, okay? Being very like quick and explaining something and being very decisive about something, about a situation with someone, or if this is with yourself. This is very intellectual. This is mental clarity. Let's see. The first thing, right, like that I'm drawn to when I'm seeing this card is this feels like a messenger coming in. So I feel like receiving news or something about someone else, and this feels like you yourself are speaking to whoever it is. So this may currently feel, whatever situation this is that's coming up, uncomfortable because you are you are a person who likes to lead from your heart, and you're an individual that likes to like lift others up. Whatever is currently taking place is asking for cutting through the noise, right? And that doesn't mean that you can't pair that with heart-centeredness, right? Sometimes the people that love you the most, and whether this is a message to yourself or to someone else, when you really love someone, you don't often, you don't lie to the individuals. And I'm not saying like you, I'm just saying in general, right? Like if you truly love someone, you're not just gonna be like, oh yeah, sure, that's whatever. And then you kind of like let them go down the wrong road. You are more decisive and honest, like, hey, I love you. And because I love you and because I care about you, I'm going to be honest about this. And, you know, I don't feel that that might not be the best move because of X, Y, and Z, but, you know, you can always give words of advice for whatever it may be, right? And, you know, like I say, take what resonates, leave the rest. These are just energies as they land, and, right, you have free will. So do or don't do whatever you feel, right? My caveat, and I always like to reinforce, is whatever it is that you do in this life, lead with your heart, and do it with sincere love and intention and kindness, right? But so this feels like maybe you're having to cut through something. There's something that you're needing to be honest and clear. And you know, that could even be like you setting your boundaries, right? You're just being very decisive and open and honest about this. And you're like, hey, you know, it could be that because you're so heart-centered and heart-led, that you're an individual that now you have to be like, hey, like, yeah, I'm an awesome person. I'm a loving person. But because of that, that does not mean that you know what I mean? Like, you're being very honest. That doesn't mean that you get to trample all over me. That doesn't mean that I'm going to put up with your type of, you know, X, Y, and Z behavior. Like, that does not mean that you get to step on me. So this could be you stepping into that current energy and that power. And that's like from a place of love for self. And that is okay. That is okay for you to set your boundaries and say, hey, like, I love you. I'm always going to cheer you. I'm always going to be your champion. But I also deserve love and respect. And I also, you know, I deserve, okay, the same love and care that I've been treated to, and the fact that I've given you, you know what I mean? So you are being very clear and honest with your boundaries, and that could 100% be it. Like, this is you. I almost feel like you standing in your power, speaking to someone else. So you are being very honest and very decisive about whatever it is that's going on. So whether it's something for them and you're saying, hey, listen, I love you, and because I love you and because I champion you, I'm going to be as honest as possible, but because I want the best for you. Or this could be like, hey, this is what I'm being clear about with me, and I'm going to be honest with you about how I feel, because I deserve that, because I know I'm a loving person. And that doesn't mean like you're better than them. I'm not trying to say that. What I'm trying to say is healthy relationships, if this is in the aspect of a relationship, calls for like respect, kindness, love, you know, support, right? And it can't be one-sided. That's uneven, that's unbalanced, right? And I feel like something that we're all collectively trying to work on is balance, right? This is, you know, even if this collective, like, say this is a reading for the nation, right? This has been like a very heartfelt, loving nation that's trying to come in with new ideas and stuff. But hey, there have been things that have gone wrong, and now collectively we need to, you know, cut the crap, for lack of a better word. Not allow certain injustices to go in to like to the world, to the structures, to the XYZ, right? And so the same is with a relationship. If you take it down to the personal level, right? Like, I want something healthy, and I want to build something that's good and solid and lasts. So this is stepping into that clear, honest, this is what I want, this is what I need, and I'm going to listen to what you need, and you're going to listen to what I need, and we're going to make a consensus, that's healthy and loving and positive and mutually beneficial, and not toxic. We're not going to allow that in, and we're going to work through that, right? This is that honest energy, that decisive energy, that queen intellectual energy that's stepping forth. And that doesn't mean that you're not a loving person, and that doesn't mean that you can't still lead from your heart. If anything, this is just a different version of leading from your heart. Yes, it's your headspace, but that's okay. You know, like when all things are in balance, sometimes you need those different energies to come forth to build and structure, right, something that's truly healthy. It's just a different energy manifesting for the highest good. All right, let's get into the next one. What's beautiful about how this laid out is, right, this is you being honest, right? And you're being like, this is what I need. And that is going to bring forth, again, that fresh clarity, those fresh perspectives. This honesty is going to allow for new things to flow, right? This is now coming in. I'm leading from a heart space. I am a heart-led person. I lift others up, but I'm going to make sure that in this new movement, yeah, I'm still leading from my heart, but I'm going to be very clear about my needs and what I need. So again, this could be individualistic, and this could be on a massive scale. And, you know, as they say, as above, so below, as within, so without. As I've been reading, I've been noticing that collectively, right, we ourselves as a country, as a world, as individuals are going through mirrored, I want to say purges. I don't know if that's the right word, and I do apologize if that's a triggering word for anyone. What I'm trying to say is collective clearings, collective ways of standing in one's own power for no longer allowing old things that do not fit the narrative to exist, right? It's a new chapter. It's time for new ideas. And this is your future, right? So past, present, future. This is leading into the fresh, the new, the beginning, a new start. What comes? This feels like innovation. This feels like fresh air, right? This feels powerful, but it also feels like it's being led from light. Excuse me. This almost feels like I've got my head above the clouds, but I don't mean it like in a naive way. This feels like I'm seeing like new perspectives. It's like someone standing on the top of a mountainside and it's fresh air, right? You were at the top. This is like the purest air. These are the widest views. This is the new start. This is, I'm going to look at things from a new perspective. And this is what's going to be. This is starting fresh, okay? So in moving from that heart space to that, I'm going to be honest and clear. This is current. This is the current energies. I'm going to be honest and clear and decisive about what I want. And I can say it from a loving place. Like, you can be firm and you can be loving, right? That's that strength card, even though that's not what's on play here. You can be strong and soft at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't mean that you have to be brutal or mean or violent. This is no. This is not good. This no longer stands. That is not okay. This is how I want to move forward. I want this. I want that. I want that. And I'm not talking in a selfish way. Sure, a little bit it's selfish because you're saying these are my needs, but like not in a toxic way. These are my needs because I am grounded, I am loving, and I expect that reciprocity. This is whatever I am building, I'm being honest about. This is our friendship. This is our relationship. This is da-da-da-da-da-da-da. To match my energy, which is the queen energy that I deserve, right? You need to meet me there. And you need to match that, you know, whatever relationship you're in. As a queen, be another queen. As a queen, be my king. As a whatever whatever, non-binary as my partner, be my partner, right? Like this is match my energy and meet me with that respect. I'll give you respect, you give me respect. I'll give you love, you give me love. I support you, you support me, right? This isn't I just give. This is we're coming into balance and I'm telling you my needs so that we can move forth with clarity, with new innovation, with fresh perspectives, with a new clean chapter. This feels nice. This is the start of how it should have been started the whole time. And for whatever reason, societally, culturally, those needs weren't met in the past. But that's it. That is the past. And we're not living in the past. We are living in the present and we are creating our future. I am living in my present truth, in my healed or healing truth, right? We will continually be having to face trials and tribulations throughout our life, hopefully less intense. But the point is you constantly learn, alchemize, grow, learn, alchemize, grow, keep going through those stages, right? That's cyclical. That's just how this world works. And in doing so, and in being honest, and in facing that, and in being in that healed, empowered, loving, clear energy, it moves into this next chapter of clear, of perspective, of fresh start, of it just feels clean. Like it just feels clean. Like it feels like clean laundry. It feels like, I don't know, like I'm hearing like the sound of music, you know what I mean? When Maria's up on the hill and she's like singing The Hills Are Alive with the sound of music. I don't know if you've seen that. But she's got her arms free and she's singing from the mountain, the hillside or the mountainside, and she's just proclaiming the beauty, and she's there and she's free and she's not encumbered. This is fresh. This is sunshine. This is new, and this is the best, newest version, right? The best as of now, and it'll continue to get better if you so choose, right? So this clarity energy coming in, if you continue to stand in this power and truly currently, what Spirit is advising is to continue to stay in that power and to be clear about your needs and do so from a loving place. So that, yeah, if someone's not going to meet you there, they will fall away. And yes, I'm not saying that wouldn't be hard, but what I am saying is as that falls away, it makes space for new energy to come in, or people that are willing to give you that respect and love to come in, right? Or if they don't and they stay by your side, it helps them to raise up to be what you need. And I don't mean this in they need to change. I'm saying that they need to also love you and respect you and support you just like you support them, right? So if anything, it just makes it mutually beneficial and supportive and healthy, right? So that you can move into this next chapter. So have faith, stay in your queen energy. And yes, if you're a man, that, it just means your strength from, or I'm sorry, I don't even want to just say you're a man. If you are, however you express yourself, right? This is just telling you to stand in your power and your loving power and your loving truth and decisiveness. And so that, whoever it is, your partner, however it is, or that business, or what it is that you need while you're looking for jobs, or, however this is manifesting, right? Knows clearly what it is and how it needs to meet you, so that you build this next chapter and you go into this next chapter clear and fresh and with new beautiful things coming in. So I love it. All right, so let's go ahead and pull some oracle cards and see what else Spirit wants to bring through. All right, so I'm pulled to the Seasons of the Witch because I had my witch deck, so I wanted to pull from here. So this will be the first oracle deck we are pulling from, and let's see what Spirit wants to bring through. Sometimes these are a little slippery. I'm like, okay. Spirit, what else wants to come through for this collective? What else would you like to share with this collective? Ooh. What else wants to come through for this collective? Okay, trusting the stop. Molasses. To move forward, you must know where you are headed. Beautiful. Let's read what this card has to say, and I feel like this goes with this. And I also wanted to say, as I was shuffling this oracle deck, what came into my head was this. This is your declaration of independence. This is your declaration of your needs, right? This is your declaration. So I wanted to share, like, the word declaration was coming in very strongly. Okay, so to move forward, you must know where you are headed, all right? To move into this energy, you need to know where you are headed. Let me move that up. Can you see that a little bit better? Okay. Actually, let's see. Can I move these to the side? Don't mind me. Let's see, like that. Okay, cool. Okay, so the keywords are saying stagnation, laziness, lacking motivation. To move forward, you must know where you're headed. I don't feel from this collective what's coming through is not laziness. There could be moments of lack of motivation or stagnation coming through, but that's where you're being invited into that clarity, that decisiveness. You're being invited to embody that energy of queenhood and or, you know, sovereignty of power, so that you yourself can be pushed into this next chapter, can move into this next chapter, but do so decisively and with intention and with clarity of what it is that you need. So I just felt like I needed to share that. Let's see. Your higher self chose this card because molasses represents a period of uncertainty when the path ahead isn't clear, and despite your best efforts, you simply cannot seem to move forward. Standing still is very frustrating, but you're in this period of pause so that you can take some time to get a full understanding of where you actually want to go. All right, so this is good because you can then thus, once you think about what it is that you need, be clear about what it is that you need and be clear about what it is that you want. So even though it's slow and sticky, it's because the universe is going, hey, we know you, and I know that your higher self knows you, right? And we know that you need some time to process and think about what it is that you want so that you can then be clear in your power about what it is that you want so you can move into this fresh chapter, okay? So thank you, universe, for coming through and holding you and also knowing when to motivate you so that you are held and then you are motivated to keep moving forward for your highest good. So yes. Standing still is very frustrating. You could take on this period of pause so you could take some time to get a full understanding of where you actually want to go. This card will often visit you after a period of significant but unintentional action. You may have made choices in haste of late or are coming to regret some of your decisions. Perhaps you said yes too quickly and now wish to back out, or a situation seemed like a worthy gamble but is now turning out to be a nightmare. And this could be because you're just such a kind person that you've been quick to please others and give others what they want, but now it's moving into, okay, you can still be a loving person, but we want you to be clear about what it is that you want and how it is that you want to move forward, right? Now you're going to pull that power, that energy that you're giving into others back into yourself, and you're going to be clear with yourself and with others about what it is that you need. It may not seem like it now, but this period of indecision is helping you to slow down, to gain perspective, to be patient, and wait for the right opportunity to find you. In the meantime, focus on diving deeper into your spirit. Are there mundane tasks that you could focus on while you aren't distracted by other things? Perhaps you might consider a practice such as meditation to take your mind off of your current problems. You will find that the stickiness goes away when the time is right for things to move forward again. This card also advises you not to make any hasty decisions right now. Take care of what you need to do, of course, but delay any life decisions until more information comes into hand. And once you have the information that you need, once you've gathered what it is that you need and you are clear about what you need, then you are being advised into that power so that you can move into the next chapter. All right, thank you, Spirit, for that and for that clarity. And let me go ahead and grab another Oracle book to see what else wants to come through for you. What came into my mind immediately while I was reading the Page of the Cups is the Empath's Oracle. So we're going to go ahead and see what message wants to come through for you from here. All right, Spirit. What else would like to come through for this collective? What other message would like to come through? What other advice is coming through for this collective as they take their time to learn what it is that they want so that they can make their declarations of what it is that they need so that they can move into this next chapter? What else wants to come through, Spirit? All right, trusting the stop. Welcoming the help of others. Interesting. And this is beautiful. What I'm seeing here is multiple faces, but I'm also seeing wildlife. So it feels like help could come in multiple ways. Let's go ahead and read what wants to come through. All right, this one says, opening personal energy to receiving rather than only giving. Okay, moving out of that, thank you, Spirit, for the confirmation, out of that Page of Cups where you only give, and you're pulling that energy into receiving. Okay, this is, you are learning to, in this moment, you have slowed down because you are learning to recognize what it is that you want, to be clear what it is that you need, to stand into that power, okay, and to be able to not just give, but receive, whether it's love, whether it's support, whether it's help, however that manifests, you're stepping into this, right? Thank you, Spirit, for that confirmation. Contemplating different forms of healing that can benefit our growth, releasing self-limiting and ego-based beliefs of being a constant provider. All right. Thank you, Spirit, for this confirmation. Imagery. This beautiful card depicts divine wings of spiritual guardians. In fact, this painting depicts the artist himself with his son and touches on the theme of putting energy into sustaining another person. We all deserve sustenance, care, and healing in our lives, right? And this isn't just you giving, this is also receiving. It also illustrates the strength that both the sender and the receiver of support can draw from this process. Humanity lives and thrives on the mutual sharing of knowledge. We must be aware of this responsibility. So I'm going to pause right there because, again, I feel like I said what's happening within is happening without, as above, so below. This is, yes, micro and macro. This is personal. This is you moving out of the give into mutual give and receive, right? This is, and in doing so, you're seeing what it is that you need, maybe for the first time ever. Maybe for the first time ever, you're like, hey, this wasn't right. I need this. I need you to meet me here. I need you to help me with X, Y, and Z, right? This is that stepping into that power, that energy, and being clear first about what you want so that you can then thus be clear about what you want to move into this new space. Know that you're not alone in going through this. This is coming through collectively because multiple of us are going through this, and it's going through at a personal and at a bigger scale, right? The fact that this country, and I'm speaking from the United States, you know, is finally reaching a point of needing to see what serves and what doesn't serve, to see what worked and what didn't work, to move into this new collective fresh chapter, right? So we're doing it in personal and public. I'm not saying you have to be public. I'm just saying like the public at whole, like the country at large, probably multiple countries at large, okay, are all going through this. And this is just the reflection internally. So you yourself are learning to not just constantly give. And now it's going to be a mutual beneficial give and take, receiving. But you need to be clear with what it is that you want. So that you can then express that properly so that then it can bring through this new fresh start. All right. deeper meanings. One of the most significant lessons for us highly empathic souls is to open ourselves to healing from others. Whether this is in the form of psychotherapy, counseling, energy work, metaphysical workshops, deep conversation, or anything else, we absolutely need to embrace the skills and perspectives of others from time to time. After all, we have our own unique gifts and are happy to share them. However, the same holds true for others in their own trades and professions. Society places an unhealthy level of expectation on a person to handle everything themselves and to suck it up, buttercup. This is both harmful and unrealistic. The truth is that there are countless people out there who are pleased to help others in their lives. We simply must cultivate the humility to accept this part of life's process. I feel like this is not only culturally has been imposed upon many a person of, do, you need to do. It feels like collectively we are moving into a bigger form of community and learning to truly depend on one another and to work together. And that is the big thing right now, is coming together in this new chapter and working together as best we can and as lovingly as we can to build what is coming next. Ooh, that thing just fell. Interesting. Okay, I want to say, because that fell, if we do not come together, there could be collapse, right? There needs to be balance, right? So that fell. So that's what I feel like. Thank you, Spirit, was the message coming through there. It is imperative that we come together. It is imperative that we learn to come from a heart-centered space and see what it is that we need. It is imperative to work as communities. It is imperative as individuals to no longer go from this self-centered, I have to do everything on my own, material gain is only for me, I don't care who I step on, and I'm not talking about you, I'm talking again about this collective mentality that's gone on. I don't care on who I step on to, as long as I get to where I need to go. No, we need to work together to heal this planet. We need to work together to, support healthy crops and, not put pesticides and poison the earth and each other. We need to work together to help, drive down these prices so that homes aren't ridiculously expensive. And again, that's not on that has from the greed of individuals in corporations and corporate entities that are only looking out for themselves and are only looking out for their profit and their blah, 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 right? Like, that can no longer serve. That is showing itself to not be a sustainable practice, right? So this is individually and collectively moving into not just give, or I have to do, or I have to take it all on. It is no longer a single thing. It is realizing that we are collectively one and we need to come together as a community and that we need to depend on others individually, right? To be clear about what we need individually and as a community and as a world so that we can move into this next chapter. So this declaration, this moment of really stopping and taking ownness and taking stock about what it is that doesn't serve and what it is that we need and where it is that we want to go, so that we can be clear in the intentions to then build that to move into this next fresh, new version, perspective chapter, right? All right. Empaths are natural healers, so it's only natural that healers in various fields are themselves highly empathetic. Remember, even therapists have therapists. If you practice healing arts or help others professionally on a regular basis, there is no shame in reaching out for support and perspective from others within similar or related fields, or even simply reaching out to trustworthy friends and family. Suggestions for action. Seeking others' help is not limited to professional spheres. Everyone responds differently to different treatments. You may have drawn this card because it's time for an energetic tune-up. There are innumerable healing practices out there that can be beneficial for someone who needs to energetically realign. Healers are out there waiting for you to seek their services. Many professional healers working on sliding scales and trades, so don't become self-limiting, okay? It feels good when we help other people, so why not allow that same feeling of goodness for other helpers and healers? All right. This card may also indicate the need to see a doctor for mental or physical alignment, or as mentioned earlier, simply talk to a trusted friend or family member for support. I am not a doctor. I am not giving medical advice. I want to caveat that. You yourself needs to be honest with yourself on how you are feeling. If you're feeling sick, right, we should go to a doctor, do whatever it is that you need to do. You have your best intentions at heart. Always lead for the highest good of yourself and for others. Lead healthy, happy, loving, balanced lives. Okay, so that's my advice to you, is do what you need to do to be healthy, happy, balanced, and leading with love, right? We want that alignment, right? So please take what resonates, leave the rest, move forth for your highest good, for your healthiest, happiest, highest good, okay? Don't carry the world on your shoulders. Please don't carry the world on your shoulders. We are all in this together, and that was the theme of that, the fact that this is happening at a micro and a macro scale. We're all going through this. Let's be here together. Know that you're not alone. This is coming collectively, okay? If this resonates for you, this is resonating for 20, 50, 100 other people, if not more, okay? There's a reason this message is coming through. Know that you're not alone, and know that you don't have to do it alone, and know that we don't have to, at a bigger scale, rebuild things on our own. It is, the work becomes less and lightens when we can all share the load, okay? We are all here to help each other in our own unique ways. Consider what would be most beneficial for you at this time and pursue it with confidence. To seek assistance from other people is not a mark of weakness. Rather, it is a mark of strength, integrity, and wisdom. So that's beautiful. I feel like both of these cards were kind of, I would almost put it, if I had to put it in order, I would say you've got your Page of Cups energy, which is how you've been living as a person who is very loving, and there's nothing wrong with that. You've been in a slow-ish moment, right? Where you're really taking stock of how things are and what you want of things. And you are learning now, or you're being invited, right, by Spirit to take stock of what it is that you need and be willing to work with others for your health, for your happiness, for some balance, to not have to put it all on you, right? And once you know that, once you know what you need, and once you're feeling more decisive and clear about your needs, to share that. So this would almost be like, kind of like together, right? Like this is, I need to be clear about what I need, and I need to also know that I can depend on others, right? This is that balance right here. And in doing so and working through that and speaking your needs and working with others and not having to be the person who does it on their own, you can then thus move into this fresh chapter of clarity, of balance, of health, of love, of brightness, of fresh air, of, oh God, this is so much better. This is so much easier. This is so much clearer, right? So yeah. Take what resonates, leave the rest. This is always just advice that Spirit is bringing through. I appreciate your being here. I hope that for you, you know that you are not alone, that you know you don't have to do this alone, that you find the strength and the clarity of voice. You know, just like you're quick to say, hey, you're awesome, you do the best, blah, 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 that you can say, hey, this is what I need. Hey, can you help me with? Hey, I'll help you, but could you also help me? And move into that space of reciprocity, so that you can and that people can come together, whether it's your friends helping you, your family helping you, your workplace helping, whatever it is, however that's manifesting you, so that can move into that space. And again, collectively as a whole, people are learning to work together, to speak up against things, to say, hey, this is what we want. We're going to voice this. We're going to make sure that we elect people that benefit the whole, that are supporting everybody, that are building back communities, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, so that we can move into this next chapter individually and on a bigger scale. So these declarations will come once we know where we stand, what we're firm in, what our heart and souls and collective intentions truly need for the highest good of all. So thank you for being here, sending you lots of light and love. I know, I trust that you will get into this chapter and you will be able to voice what you need, so that those easier days, those fresher days, those brighter days can manifest around the corner. All right. See you all next reading. Bye.